Hello and welcome to Take 5 with Automation World. I'm David Miller, Senior Technical Writer for Automation World. Today I'm going to be talking about the Log4j vulnerability, how it might affect industrial control systems, and how industrial operators can defend themselves from it. Now, the first and most important question to answer is, of course, what is the Log4j vulnerability? Well, many viewers have probably already heard of it, but if you haven't, that's okay. Essentially, the Log4j vulnerability is a cybersecurity loophole that works by exploiting a very small and nearly ubiquitous piece of software called Log4j. And this is used in all kinds of computer programs to record and log events, errors, and routine system operations so that diagnostic messages and other types of things like that can be produced and sent onward to system administrators or others when certain events occur that, again, need to be logged. So the Log4j vulnerability takes advantage of this common and necessary mechanism to allow a third-party server to submit software code which can trigger the performance of malicious actions on a targeted system. So we're talking about things like stealing sensitive information, taking control of a system, or passing some kind of malicious code of that nature onto another system that is communicating with the affected system. So currently there's been no publicized information about a Log4j compromise occurring in connection with an industrial control system. Rather, the examples we've seen have been things like hackers trying to take control of computers to use them to mine cryptocurrency, or another much more high-profile example was something that many probably saw in the news, which was that the Belgian Defense Ministry had information stolen from them via a Log4j breach. But industrial control systems do most certainly use Log4j, and therefore they are vulnerable. So you can imagine the consequences if an industrial control system were penetrated. A threat actor could monitor or even take control of physical processes that are not only needed for some mission-critical application like cleaning wastewater in the case of public infrastructure, but could also involve large and dangerous machinery, big pumps and all kinds of heavy equipment, the disrupted operation of which could quite literally result in safety hazards to employees. So as promised, the question to be answered now is, how can industrial operators protect themselves against Log4j attacks? Well, there are a few ways. First of all, update the version of Log4j being used in your system. The National Institute of Standards National Vulnerability Database has reported that Log4j, Log4Shell rather, which is the name for the Log4j vulnerability, has been disabled from Log4j version 2.150 and actually completely removed from version 2.160. So if you can identify those pieces of software you're using that employ Log4j and update them, this will solve your problem, and it's as simple as that. Beyond that, of course, the tried and true method of isolating any critical industrial control systems from external business networks or the broader internet continues to be of value. So this, as ever, enhances safety tremendously. It's also important to monitor any outgoing connections that do exist for cyber threats. So many industrial control systems, for instance, will produce outgoing communication in the form of messages that pertain to maintenance, metering, diagnostics, so on and so forth. So again, these are sometimes going to be absolutely necessary. They can't be avoided. But in that case, they should always be monitored for anomalies. And finally, operators should ensure that frequent backups are made and that very rigid backup procedures are in place. Because if you have a stable backup, then, God forbid, if an incident does occur, you will be able to bring your system back online as quickly as possible. So the one final thing I would note here is that this is not just something for end users of industrial control systems to pay attention to, but also vendors and OEMs. And they can assist in this process by openly announcing which of their products have Log4j vulnerabilities and sharing information about how patches, remediations, and updates to fix these vulnerabilities can be implemented. So other than that, that's everything I have for you today. I do hope our viewers find this helpful. I'd also like to add that if you've had any personal experience with Log4j at your company and think you have valuable experience to share, we would actually love to hear more about it here at Automation World. So if you'd like to do so, you can reach me at dmiller at pmmimediagroup.com and we can talk more.